conceived in the later half of the OOs, from esoteric ritual scripts archived deep underground. It is with great honor that I come before you this evening to announce the one-year celebration of the show. Born under a Piscean moon, the symphonic brainchild of Lee and Ryan has a mostly untold story. That is, up until now. Lean in, listener, and I will tell you a tale some 5,000 days in the making. In this episode, we celebrate the life and success of the Garbage Juice Podcast Media Network. Below the Strozer Library, a network of now flooded, cavernous tunnels, once occupied by a society of elites so majestic, I can only describe them as 10 times more powerful and supernatural than the Knights Templar. 16th century explorers told tales of golden, ancient, under-swamp cities, tranquilly connected with palm tree-lined, pedestrian-friendly walkways, and chill, patio-type places to hang loose and kick back with the boys. Fast forward 400 years, weeks before the 2008 subprime mortgage collapse, a couple of random roommates would unknowingly unite over the discovery of a lifetime. While vibing atop Tallahassee's most chic indie sleaze club scenes, world-class nonchalant dance moves guy, Ryan, broke it down something so nasty like one night, a dimensional time tunnel opened up from the center of the dance floor. At the time, this place was known as Club Down Under, which coincidentally happened to be built precisely above the ancient tunnel people's sickest outdoor music venue. That venue, you ask? Colloquially known as Club Garden of Eden. With only a glimpse, Ryan, non-committal dance move masterclass and shamanically trained philosophist, was immediately thrusted back to above ground, waking mysteriously in his bed the next morning. He knew what he had experienced was no dream, and he knew what needed to be done. Find someone with a culturally enriched mathematician genius third eye, and a linguistic practice of the old world, the tongue of an ancient language, preferably around 3,000 years old. New roommate and proper chosen one, the absolute unit himself, Handsome Lee. The two team up for one brief but epic underground adventure, repeating the same enchanting rhythmic breakbeat shoulder and head bop gyrations as before. The same dance sequence that led Ryan to the underground world just weeks prior. The two were able to return to the subterranean fortress, this time for slightly longer, viewing cryptic formulas and codes unseen for centuries, the momentary unveiling of mysterious and complex charts outlining the greatness of dudes throughout all of time. Unfortunately, the voyage to this underground cathedral was cut short by the presence of an unknown security, possibly operatives of the corrupted deep state Obama regime. Remember, this was 2008, so yes, the timeline fits. As the last construction crews died off from the housing crash in the great state of Florida, the simultaneous statewide power tool power down caused a catastrophic shock to the vast but fragile system of underground caves and rivers. The century-long vibrative pounding from residential and commercial projects up and down the Florida coastline actually created a frequency barrier that trapped ancient seawater below the non-brackish freshwaters of the aquifer, while maintaining the coastal barrier walls that sealed the aquifer from the saline-rich waters threatening from the Gulf Coast, the Atlantic Coast, and underground waters south of Lake Okeechobee. Yes, the phenomenon known elsewhere as Horizontal Saltwater Intrusion permeated and compromised the underground tunnels of ancient wonders to a permanent end before the boys could return, forever sealing off the riches for what we can only assume to be the rest of eternity. No one will ever see what we saw.
Oh yeah. Okay. Our origin story. Origin. understood a solid 40 to 45% of it, but was enthralled by the rest I didn't understand because I must have been there and just forgot.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a time when you and I unlocked the portal. We gained access to a majestic new land. The land itself was foretold by the locals, along with 16th century explorers. And we have been decoding that knowledge on this wonderful show.
Demons, omens, codes, monks.
Giving all of our fans out there a chance to gather insightful, meaningful clues, tips, predictions, gambling advice, basic like fortune telling. But it's because of what we saw, because of what we went through, that we now have so much to give and so much to share. And we've been doing that. We're back together 5,000 days later. Here we are handing out these lessons, handing out these gifts that only we saw. Just like that, no one else will see it again, because we could blame Fannie Mae, the banks, and all of the corrupt deep state actors for trying to always silence us. And it makes sense again why we've been so punished, why last episode was delayed, why previous episodes have never been aired, and why there's been so many speed bumps on our journey. But here we are, basically 1 year later, and that feels great. I'm super stoked, super excited. We're barreling through the most depraved section of the year, astrologically speaking, Pisces symbol. So it's all whimsical. It's complete, stranded in the middle of a giant ocean with 50-foot waves for February through March. Really chaotic energy. A lot of people, what you would call in their feelings. A lot of full-grown male adults crying and in the fetal position, holding themselves and shaking. And yeah, tough time on relationships. This is the final stretch of the gloomiest, shittiest parts for most of the country. The bulkhead of seasonal depression. The worst transitional phase. Our full moon of last week, the worm moon. That is the moon that is known as when all the worms come out. So take that for what you will, whatever the ancients meant by that. I think just helps to describe the vibe. Also, it's my birthday week. Birthday share.
I didn't want to interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt that soliloquy that you just embarked upon, but I wanted to share with the listener that it was just recently Ryan's birthday. I did not message you or provide any notification of that I recognized your birthday until now. That's because I already sent you a gift, so I already paid it forward. I didn't feel the need to have to like be time to know what date exactly your birthday is. Like I got it within the element, like you just described, like that time of year for most people, not for Floridians because we don't deal with that, but for most people in the United States, up north, Midwest, it's not summer. It's not, you don't have that beauty of summer.
Right.
You don't have that sprinkling of spring yet. You know, that really fresh spring.
Right.
It's not even like really snowing that much. It's just dark, dungy, grungy.
The ugliest foliage of the year these weeks.
Just empty.
All of the smartest animals are hibernating, so you don't see them. You don't see any cool animals. I myself would love to be hibernating right now, taking time to self-care and rest necessary for great strength and great power for the funner months, the nicer, prettier months ahead.
Well, this is the most kind of like basic bitch question I could ask, but what did you do for your birthday?
I love that you asked me this question. And to go back to what you said a moment ago about it being my birthday already, my birthday is Sunday. So you didn't.
Oh,
you
it's
didn't
not
miss.
even. Oh,
Yeah.
It's not here yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Here. I'm not. I don't know if you're in Japan right now, where it is 2 days ahead. I don't know that. So, listener, I know this might sound confusing, listener, that you might think, well, is he even on the same planet right now? Is he on planet Earth? He's listening. He's talking to his friend. We're supposed to believe it's his friend. But Folks, we know that Lee has important work that he needs to do, and sometimes he needs to do it from different corners of the globe. So no, here we are in the States, same time zone and everything. It's Friday night, and welcome to the show, everybody. Cue in celebration music, cue in happy birthday songs, cue in great clips from over time, cue in all of our funniest things. We have nothing that we're bringing to the table for tonight. We want to welcome everyone to listen to us.
I think we just wanted to honor each other tonight.
Right.
We've been on this journey that should never have started, should never have continued once we did start it. And here we are, a year later. There's a lot to appreciate about the journey, and there's a lot for us to learn from the journey, you know? How much more do we have left in the tank? And I think we have just gotten started.
Yes.
This is just the beginning. So, okay, how much longer? We're just revving the engine, right?
We have people coming up to us.
The cord of the lawnmower.
In our personal lives, people are coming up to us and they're saying things like, what is this show called? What is, how do I listen to you? Constantly, people in our own lives wanted to talk to us about this project that we've it's something that we have to do, something that we have to share. The story is amazing. It is. Then they're gonna ask questions. Oh, well, what is it about? Do you have like a goal? Is there a target for what you're doing? These are not relevant to the topic. And listener, you yourself might be going through the very same situation, and you think to yourself, should I be listening to those that care about me? Should there be any self-reflection on such topics? And the answer is absolutely not. Do not get distracted off of your course. Remember the key tenets that we've gone over all year long. Engage with this program even more. Take it upon yourself to look through our beautiful catalog and peruse the aisles of all that we've posted. We have so much good things to say. Yes, we're not done, and we're going to keep going. And anyone that has anything to say against that, you'll hear from our lawyers, plain and simple. For all you know, we are based in Manchester, and there is very strict libel laws. So be careful about what you've been saying about us. We see those comments. We can see that, and it's rude and tasteless.
The path was not straightforward. As you mentioned in the intro, there were roadblocks, road bumps, potholes, landslides. Everything on God's green earth was telling us to stop. Low viewer ratings, poor reception from core demographics. But we continued, we've persevered. We've made it one rotation around the sun, together, entwined, encircled, two scissors.
Ooh, we did it
together. And
Hallelujah.
It's a gift from God. We're gifted by the gods. We are having the work of the gods work through us and our fingertips and our beautiful voices. We have done the unthinkable. Yes, we have conquered the unconquerable, and we're here today to show you, folks, it's doable. You can do it. Anyone, just get to the canvas, step up to the hoop, hop downward, in and downward into the seat like a NASCAR. You don't open that door. The door doesn't open, so you got to jump in and out of the window and take the wheel. Let Jesus take the wheel, but also let you take the wheel. Take it from us. We're going to give you the best takes, concepts, criticism that you're going to find online, and we're going to bring it to you. We're going to make a beautiful cocktail out of all of the media that will come across your timeline and your life. And we're going to make it palatable so you can have the bartender, shake it up in one of those things with the ice and then strain it over 16 shots. You and 15 of your closest friends can shoot this stuff all at once. We package it up digitally as a gift to you. It's our birthdays. And again, being a big part of this network, Lee, you've done so much. You have the honorary High Seas birthday to celebrate. You can tell your family, you could tell your coworkers it's actually your birthday month too. And they should, be sweet to you, because that's very important.
I really appreciate that, Ryan. I take that as a huge honor. What I also want to talk about And this is going to change, I think, the trajectory here of our conversation today. Obviously, the year celebration is upon us, and there's so much we've been blessed by. But Ryan, you were just blessed to go to the beautiful country of Portugal.
Portugal! I returned from Lisbon. This beautiful Lisbon. I have no idea what Portuguese is. They tell you your whole life that Portuguese is like Spanish. They say that to you. They tell you that there's the giant continent-wide country in South America called Brazil that speaks it, and it's surrounded by Spanish. But Portuguese sounds like someone speaking Russian, kind of, right? It's like Russian or Ukrainian kind of sounding.
Totally.
Who I will endearingly refer to as my current partner and life companion, who, again, formerly my ex, currently my girlfriend, former current. It's a great term. I had some coworkers help me out with that one. The former current went to Portugal with her. We had an amazing time. She had never been to Portugal and first time to Europe. So very exciting for her. The European experience is world-class. Let's face it, any place that can boast about 300 plus days of sunlight while maintaining like 72 degrees with a variable 4-degree range in between there. I'm listening.
Nice.
Okay, I'm listening. You have my attention. We had a great time. It was cut short. We did have a disagreement and I did leave the country. I thought to myself, my partner will have a better time, I think, discovering the place for herself. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to the studio. I was in the middle of that shakedown. Again, deep state attacked us. The computer has been crashed and compromised once again. Wouldn't you know it, she thought that was a bad idea. So she demanded that we get her back. She then called me while I was boarding and said, you better get me the expletive back, expletive. And so then I was able to get her on a flight a little bit later on another airline, TAP Portugal. They flew her into Boston. That flight departed around 2 p.m. Mine took off around 9 a.m. that day. So I took the only Delta flight. There was only one. It was in the morning. I get into JFK get into the States earlier than she does. And then I have a problem getting out of JFK. Again, we're flying standby. Tune in to last week's episode, season 2, episode 6, on a big chat about standby travel, if you want to hear more. But New York, JFK, that day I arrived, it was very busy. Was not able to get out. So I decided I need to get back to Atlanta. JFK to Atlanta should be the easiest thing for Delta to do. It wasn't looking good. Only a couple flights left. So I called the audible. I went to Washington Reagan International, dropped into DC. I get into DC, plenty of time to board the next flight to Atlanta, the connecting flight. Breaking it up into segments, well, it'll at least help me get a little bit closer to Georgia. By this time, it's probably about 7 p.m. This flight is showing delayed. I get to the gate and I realize, well, it's going to be delayed. Okay, whatever. Let me go grab a hot dog at this famous equality-based hot dog place. It had a theme of equality, but it was good. I tell you, the quality was good.
The quality hot dogs in Washington, D.C.
There's a quality hot dog place in Reagan International. Anyone that's been through there probably knows about the quality hot dog stand.
Ben's Chili Bowl has been on just about every food or travel show to ever visit Washington. And DC foodies like to snark about whether or not their half-smoke is indeed the best. But Ben's is also a rather remarkable human story, in addition to serving a King Hell meal. Ben and Virginia Ali met at a bank where Virginia was a teller. In 1958, newly married, they started a business together in what was once DC's first silent movie house. By April of 1968, as much of the city burned, it was already a beloved institution. It became an island of calm at the very center of a terrible storm. Today, it's run by the Ali's sons, Kamal and Nizam.
It wouldn't mean
unless the chili dogs were the greatest in the world. I'm telling you, they are.
You think they are the best?
Yes, I do. Look, I love going to a nice restaurant and all that stuff, but if you say to me you're going to have one thing today, where do you want to go? It doesn't matter what it costs. It would be a half smoke here with chili, mustard, and onion.
Right. I need one. I need one. I need one now. I'm curious. The term half smoke. Outside of these things, I mean, I've never heard it before. What is it?
It used to be a breakfast sausage. It's a half pork, half beef smoked sausage, and very limited to this area. But that's our number one thing, and that's what everyone orders, and people love it.
Okay, I get it. That's not a hot dog. That's another creature entirely. So good.
Fucking time's going by, and that flight just keeps saying delayed, and then 9 p.m., 10 p.m. comes, and the gate agent says over the intercom, hey, folks, the crew has just timed out. The crew timed out. Boom. So we got to find new crew. They tell us that they're looking for new crew. No new crew ever come. Midnight comes, and they say, hey, this flight's canceled, y'all. Peace. The flight's canceled. I'm stuck in D.C. I gotta now face the repercussions that my partner, my former current, is now beat me to home. I gotta beg her to buy me a hotel room so I don't have to sleep in the airport like a loser. After I'm already really tired because I left her like basically the night before. We went out, we had an awesome time at a bar. We saw some historic fucking sights. The place is beautiful. Got to see some scenery, some outdoor stuff. I did a jog one morning. Basically like imagine all the culturally finer points from the show The White Lotus on HBO. Lee, I know you said you haven't watched that one, but
I did. I watched the entire thing.
You got to it? Cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically all the chic, posh, finer, high culture, high society, boutique living type effects of that for what was like 4 days. And yes, we did get an amazing treat on the way down there. We got to sit business class in those lay flat seats, like the royalty that we are. We got to watch the peasants.
If you don't mind, like obviously we'd love to hear you brag about sitting business class for your free trip to Lisbon.
Thank you.
Obviously you got paid back, let's say, on your return, it sounds very much like. But you didn't finish the story. You went neurodivergent.
Thank you.
You and your former current got in a disagreement, let's say. Fight's a strong word.
Right.
And you decided to leave without her. Just leave her in Portugal. It was not a flight. It was not a disagreement you could maybe reconcile on and return together.
No. I don't think so.
Okay. So then she tells you that you got to get her a flight back at some other time. Right, and you do that. I
believe the direct quote.
You're stuck.
The exact words were something like, "Get me the fuck back now, you fucking." I did.
Wait. You got back to Atlanta.
I had to pay $5 extra for a couple minutes of Wi-Fi while I was in the plane. I'm trying to sleep. I'm tired. I got up. I left and snuck out.
No. Wait. You're in Atlanta. You're in DC. The flight's canceled that night. You've been in airports all day.
Yeah. Because there's basically 24 hours of traveling towards the end of it. And if you've traveled international, that stuff does come up. So I was kind of prepared going into it that it was just going to be a long day. Lots of overpriced airport food. I was just staring at people and wondering.
Did she give you did she pay for your hotel room?
She did. Yes, she did. It was nice of her. She helped me.
Is she there with you now in your residence?
Oh, she has taken off on the road. She has a roller derby event tomorrow all day, starting at 11. For all of you WIFTA fans, that's Women's Flat Track Association. I'll have some plugs later for that.
Very cool. So, but I'm curious, did you two reconcile in a way? Like when you showed up a day later, after it seems that she flew a different route, obviously. You had a disagreement. You all wind back up in Atlanta together at some point, I imagine.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
All your stuff is at your place. If you don't remember, Ryan moved his former current overnight from Austin to Atlanta, right? Like packed everything in like 12 hours and put everything in a van and just went together.
Yeah, we did
drove together back to Atlanta.
Move. That's right. Pedal to the metal the entire way through. I don't like to stop.
Extremely impressive.
I don't want to waste any time. Time is money, folks. I say to the whole moving process, you're fired, right? I have a very heavy hand laying down my own personal trump card, if you know what I mean. I take it and I grab it by the they them pussy. The all of it above pussy. So, okay, I lost it. What were we asking?
About
what were we saying?
Your girlfriend partner that you ditched out of Portugal. Yes. We can go over what you actually did in Portugal, but you went in this direction first. You went here first, and then you got caught up in some airport bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Then you had to call her together to pay for a hotel room.
Yeah, were we fighting?
Do you all come together in Atlanta again? When you see each other, yes. Are you like, get the fuck away from me? Or, hey, that was crazy. Let's make love.
Before the day of travel was even over, just acknowledged our own humility. We have both taken upon ourselves the path of someone that's fallen into relationship with someone that is absolutely insane and fully capable of repeating these same mistakes yearly, if not monthly or weekly. So for those that play with fire, you're going to get burned. So you got to be smart about it. It is important, of course, to be smartest when dealing with hazardous elements. And waking that next day in the hotel, was able to jump up and make it to a beautiful dispensary. Trying to get to a dispensary around DC was a huge headache, at least the neighborhoods I was around, because there's a lot of places that are just addresses, and I guess they deliver, or it's really hard to find them. They're like upstairs or something. I eventually found one, and the way that they sell this to you is through some like I-71 scenario, profit, charitable something. If you purchase a CBD product, they will gift you whatever's on this menu over here. When listener, I'm winking while I do that. There is a menu like a dispensary. There is a supply, but to bypass the rule, THC products cannot be sold. So they figure out a way. They've come up with this way where I'm going there and I buy a fucking dime bag of Delta 8. And then
which is CBD.
Yeah, and then they gift me a vape cartridge and a gram of crumble resin wax thing. So
why don't they just have you buy a burrito? You know,
that would have been helpful. I just left the fucking CBD flower right there. Cool thing about DC is they got a better connected rail system, so I was able to jump on the old metro.
I've been on that train.
Pretty fucking convenient. I stayed at one of those Marriotts right there, and you just get in and out, and that part was smooth. I like that. I just left it right there next to one of the tables near the metro for someone else, someone that might need to blow that smoke in the face of their cat or dog because they're older and they have joint problems. That's what good CBD is possibly good for.
For you mean like shotgunning back in the animal's face so they can breathe in the CBD smoke, and it helps older animals with their joints. Yeah,
and that's a relevant thing to say because that's describing a good 80 to 90% of our listeners are people just like that. And we love animals, and we love our animal fan listeners out there. Animals are great. Animals always have a place on the show. And if listener, if you want to send something to your girlfriend, you just always think like you can't go wrong with cute animals doing cute stuff. And you could send it like two animals being cute, like this us, just like leave it at that. And there's no beating that message to your girl. They'll always love it. It's easy.
That's good advice.
Easy points.
That's good advice. That will always work.
That goes for all you guys out there, even you ladies. That'll work.
So to summarize briefly, y'all are back. Y'all are living together. I know she went away, but is she coming back again?
So the next morning we got back in. She picked me up from the airport. And we went out to breakfast. Went out to a place nearby here, College Park. The breakfast boys, we had fried catfish, shrimp, sauteed in a delicious cream sauce over grits. It was delightful.
How do you eat that and not go into like some type of stroke like state if you eat that in the morning? Like that's the first thing you eat.
That's a great question. And for all of our further southern listeners, here we are talking me from the northern point of the real South and Lee from the southern point of the real South. And up here, there's a higher elevation. So going back to your question, how do we do that without like a blood vessel
in South Florida, if you eat like that in the morning, and then it's like the regular temperature it is in South Florida, you're gonna die in the street. You're just gonna explode from the inside out.
Yeah, it's too hot to be doing that. Here it's a little cooler.
Oh, hell no.
And then what we get here is essentially acclimatization to the bodily effects and the bodily conditions of the Germanic people. And of course, what I mean by that is people that they thrive, actually. They do best on an extremely high saturated fat and caloric intake type diet. Full 8,000 calorie plus type diets, soft pretzels and carnival-like foods to really jumpstart your day, and then just into a variety of meats, the saltier as the day goes on. The saltier and the better. And of course, we wash it down with our liquid bakery products, our liquid bread products, our beers. And this is this is the lifestyle.
Maybe like some drink with 60 grams of sugar in it.
Right. A very sugary drink. So yeah, absolutely the necessity to get your fill, to get your good meals in. That's the thing. It's not a food town, Atlanta. It's not necessarily a food town. It's something you might want to call a food town because it's a big city. But you wouldn't really ever choose it over like New York or Chicago.
Oh no! Oh God, no!
I'd love to call it a food town, but legally, I think we'd get in trouble.
No.
Speaking of food, got a show recommendation. Did start watching The Bear. Watch the first season of that one. It's a great show. The Bear? That's right, The Bear. With
what station? What is it on?
FX Hulu station.
Hulu
FX.
I got so many subscriptions. I don't even know. I can't even keep track anymore.
You ever get around to watching Sylvester Stallone in the Tulsa?
No, is that good? Tulsa King?
Tulsa King.
Is that good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a real easy guy show. It's easy. You're in it for like a feeling of like a dozen different shows and maybe some movies. And I think I did mention this before because friend of the show, Martin Starr, is in it, and everything he does is great. The actor Martin
Starr, Silicon Valley.
That's right.
He plays Guilfoyle. Yeah, he's great.
The premise is really silly. Sylvester Stallone's character is former New York City mob, now like developing his own crew and everything as he was kind of pushed out of New York City after a long jail sentence, and he's going to tackle the first thing he sees when he leaves the airport, and he says, I'm going to fucking extort this dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
A legal dispensary. They're in Oklahoma. It's legal to do that there. And he goes in and says, I'm going to protect you from the FBI. And the FBI won't come in here and take your sack of six. Well, now we've actually started doing something illegal by an unregulated source of security from some former current mob guy. Absolutely nuts. And they kind of go into they kind of do some stuff, but that's not the important part. The important part is that there is like some violence, some drama, and a lot of romance as he's 75-year-old himself and just strangely shaped old man with strange skin. He is the biggest sex celebrity the town has ever seen. The women can't help but throw themselves at him. Every woman just like buckles at the knees when they walk by him. And you got to imagine he's living the fucking
so
life,
old.
isn't he? It's a real easily digestible type film for an easy watch. You're going to laugh. You're going to be on the edge of your seat and just kind of rooting for him. He turns into this patriarch-like figure of a crew of people. And it's very fitting because he's basically assuming the dad position over several different like Zoomer and millennial aged individuals. And he's got this ragtag group that he puts together to form his own mob. And it makes organized crime look really fun and like something that any one of us listening to this show might say,
cool hobby.
That sounds cool. I want to do that. Sounds neat. Sign me up. So we enjoy our breakfast together, and I'm pretty tired. I didn't get much sleep between the time trying to find a hotel and then trying to find a dispensary and then trying to get back up to the airport and then about missing the departure time of 11 a.m. But turns out it was delayed again. They had another problem. So I get there when it should have already been boarded up. It's still there. I'm like, oh, fuck yes. I don't have to wait another hour for the next departure. I get on the plane. There's nobody on it. That's always the best because people are gross and they make it weird on board. We need the social distancing thing. We should only continue that in the airplanes. You shouldn't have to sit so close to people.
There's never been a more true statement.
People are weird. You don't want to get close
stated
to them.
On this show.
Absolutely keep your distance. Don't even look at me. It was awesome. I'm the rows directly behind the first class on this average size commercial aircraft. I am I'm listening to somebody a few rows ahead of me in first class. What had to have been an old guy, without a doubt. The same autoplay of an advertisement about some product for something. I don't know what it was. It kept playing at full volume. It was so loud and annoying that the flight attendant got up from a couple rows behind me to talk to this guy to see if he needed any help scrolling past it on his phone. Because it was something where the guy was stuck on his smartphone where he couldn't get past something. And it was like, this has to be an old guy. And I looked at her and I said, thank you. Thank you, God. That was the most annoying shit ever. The chances of that kind of annoying stuff happen increase when there's more people on it. We know this. That's why we gotta get Pete Buttigieg to bring down the amount of available seats on an aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
For now that I'm a paying customer, my demands are going to be voiced and they're going to be loud. And I'll take it to all.
Now that you have to pay for airfare for the first time in years, you have demands.
I tell you what.
The Pete Buttigieg. So I went to the driving range today, and I wanted to leave off the episode with just a really good memory of the two of us. I'm at the driving range today. My friend takes me out to hit golf balls with him. And I was just remembering when we lived together in Tallahassee, you built us a driving range in our backyard. And the amount of balls, I just remember being out there a lot with some old golf club, just hitting balls. And the driving range you built, for anyone that it's hard to describe, but I think it was just like two poles that just held up a really thick tarp, and you just hit the ball into the tarp. And when you just stand next to the tarp and just hit the ball as hard as you could into it. But that was the extent of the driving range. But being able to do that in the backyard was amazing. And I just thought of you building that for the whole house and being like, that was a really cool thing to do.
That's right. There was 2 pine trees perfectly positioned, taking
it was pine trees, right?
Yeah, taking a step out the side door. There's a back door, side door. Easy. Folks, you get a tarp. You make sure that you don't shank it too bad. And you got something that people will pay thousands of dollars for. And you don't need to do that. Life hack.
Yeah.
And there's just like the perfect little relaxation, recharge station. You live with a lot of people and you want to maybe make the most out of your space you have, all the square footage, backyard included, right? Or was it the front yard?
Backyard.
Side yard, backyard. Yeah.
The backyard.
Yeah. We had
Hazel
backyard.
had her thing in the front yard, the bowling ball.
Yeah.
Her training ball.
I get it confused, but yeah. Okay. Those are blurry times for me. I was doing a lot of refresh my memory. What did we hit on anything coherent tonight? Barely. We do have that attempted landing without engines. We're just coasting. We lost our engines, and we know that if we can coast, we can get to fucking Iceland, right?
Did we get to Iceland?
I think so. I loved every second of it. You know I did.
I wish I could talk all night, but
yeah,
at this point,
man, you're doing great. You need some you time, always. But that goes to all of our listeners as well. If this is not on the cutting room floor already, everybody needs some good rest time.
I always enjoy hearing your stories. I'm very happy that we've done this year together, and I hope we do another year together.
Hey, cheers to you, my good man.
Is that like a equality drink you have there?
Equality IPA. That's every color of the pride flag plus the Ukrainian support flag.
There's nothing more 2023 than that beer can.
Former current got this for me. What did I say? Fuck. DJ IPA or something? I said, oh, cool. I had it. Fuck. I had something good to say. Damn it.
That's a great way to end the episode.
It's a can with a skeleton, and aviators, and fucking ear flap, flat brim, and Hawaiian button down. Standing up driving a convertible with the multicolored imaginative mosaic sunset or pride flag.
When you edit the episode, use that little rambling as kind of the lead out of the end of the episode.
Good night, brother.
Bye. Good night.